Hello and welcome to Rant Class. So in this episode I'm gonna talk about gaming. And I might be biased toward pro gaming since I've been playing games on computers and consoles since I was a kid. And I owe a lot to games when it comes to friends I have today, learning skills that I use in real life. And gaming does really have a lot of good in it. But my bias aside, I want to talk about gaming, both the good parts and the bad parts, and why it's stupid that gaming always get blamed for whatever happens around the world. And it's kind of unfair that computer gaming gets blamed for whenever something tragically happens, especially since gaming has so much good in it. And it's easy for people sitting outside looking in and saying, that looks a bit weird, that's evil, that's stupid, that's wrongdoing. But it's just like back in the days where they said rock, heavy metal was the devil's music and Dungeons and Dragons were making people kill themselves. So when you play a game, either on a device or PC, console, iPhone, iPads, and so on, data actually shows most of the games played are actually on the phone today, more than PC and consoles combined. So gaming has become truly something that we all have embraced. But now I'm going to talk about something good that happened to me when playing games. When I was a kid, my English teacher wouldn't really teach me or help me. So when I actually started playing games, I didn't know all the English. I were rather bad at it actually. I only knew a few words. And then the way I learned was to watch other people playing the same game and understanding what the functions of the game was. Like I used to watch my uncle play Civilization for hours and slowly began to understand the concept of the game and how to play it by watching him and then playing it myself while he observed me and talked to me about why did I do stuff like I did. But then World of Warcraft came out, a small game you might have heard of, and I had the few friends I had in real life began playing it, and I joined them. And then I met another crowd of people, and a lot of them are still friends with me today. That's amazing. And I slowly began learning English while playing World of Warcraft because I took the role of raid leader in the Burning Crusade, so I had to use English every day. And that was before we even have had access to uh, a server where we could talk. So I had to write everything down. I had to read guides on the raid bosses, and I then had to relay it on written terms back to the raid. And at times they were like, "Oh, you misspelled that," and then they told me, and then I spelled it differently, and then they helped me actually learning how to do it English. And when voice chat became enabled, I began to speak more and more, and I actually became rather fluent in English. I still have my accent, but I do have a way better understanding of English due to me playing World of Warcraft than I had before. And gaming for me allowed me, a person with no social skills to speak of, to find friends, to find people around the world, which means I have played with people from all around the world, from different cultures and faith. So I have a huge understanding in their world because I allowed myself to listen and talk to them about their daily life and their struggles and how the world they lived in functions. So there's a lot you can learn from playing games like teamwork, language, social skills, manners, to think ahead, to think strategically, and so much more. And sadly, when games are in the news, it's often because something bad had happened and people blame the computer games for doing that to a person, so they did something stupid or evil. And we as gamers might actually be doing ourselves a disfavor because we often with non-gamers talk about, all the bad things about games, like toxic environments and stuff like that, instead of actually talking about how amazing these games can be and defending them. But there is a lot of crap in the gaming community because we have toxic people, we have griefers, we have people who believe they're so pro that they will berate whoever joins their team for not doing what they wanted to do. And when communities have that sort of people, it will scare away new people from joining the community, and then the community will slowly die around that game. But it's also often those players who the news are looking at, like when people have a loss in a game and then find the people in real life and hurting them because they made them lose a game. But if you go back to when I started playing, we might be sitting 5 kids around one PC and talking about what's happening and cheering and applauding and having fun, all playing the game at the same time, even though it's only one person controlling the actions. And if we were in trouble, we could, without fear, ask the community for help, and some would call us newbies because we were new to the game, but most people would actually take the time to help you and talk to you about how this is done and where to go. I know there will be trollers out there who say stupid stuff that will make the game quit or something like that, but most of the people actually helped. I even tried playing a game versus a team where the person opposite me actually gave me a trick how to deal with him in the future if I met that character again by telling me you can buy this stuff and it will negate what I can do here. So there's a lot of that going around, and we really need to see that instead of just all the bad stuff. But sadly, people tend to become so engaged with the game that when the game is going on, most of them will actually curse and yell at you because the game might not be going as they want to do. And it is sad because some of these people cursing and blaming don't really seem to be able to see their own blame in what is happening. If you're playing a team game and they keep fucking something up, but they blame the rest of the team because it was never their fault. It's always someone else who can be blamed. And we really need to be able to look at ourselves, our own actions, and see, I did this wrong. I shouldn't blame the other people. I did something wrong. And just own it and grow from it. And I know it's hard because a lot of people are playing games to win all the time. But I play to have fun and maybe win. And that is why we need to look at this winner mentality when playing games and look at the manners that we have when we're playing games so we don't have all this toxicity and completely out of order bursts of anger towards other people. And we really need to do it because we are scaring away new people. So the community will become smaller and thereby it might die out. Gaming community as a whole might not die out, but the community for a fixed game might die out, so you can't play it anymore because of a few people who are just so toxic that they have driven the rest away. But there's a lot we people can actually do. If we see someone acting out like that, a lot of people will just go like, oh, at least I only have to play with this person for another 10 minutes, then this instance or this League of Legend games, Fortnite game, so what is over. But by not standing up for the other person, by not helping, defending, or in some way or form trying to take this situation and downplay it so it don't go boom in your face, but you downscale it. By not doing that, We are not showing the new people that there are actually good people here, that not everyone is a mad person who's just yelling at you for no reason. And we might be able to get people who actually believe they're the best, or griefers, or trolls who find it funny to make life hard on new people, but by actually showing that there is a greater force of love and care in the community, we might actually shove them away so the goodness in the games are shown instead of only the bad people. And by ourselves going ahead with a good example, might teach other people how to act in the gaming community. Because if you are around a lot of good people who keeps talking nicely, who keeps their head calm, who keeps doing all this good to help, it will rub on to that person and they will start doing it as well because you are influenced by the people you're around. But if all you are around is people yelling, shouting, cursing, then you will begin slowly to do the same. Maybe not out loud, but inside. And if we actually began when the kids were kids to talk about social manners online, we might get a gaming community where griefers and trollers became so far apart that they don't really affect the games anymore. That we have a community where everyone is allowed. Even though this might be hard because we can just look at social media and see how much that is influenced how gaming community also acts by being this force of people talking very harshly to each other and not really being that nice because they don't have to see the consequence of their words. But I do hope that gamers out there all over the world can begin to look at themselves and the community and begin to change it to the better. So we can begin to move this idea that gamers are bad, nerdy people away and show that the gaming community is a fun, good-hearted bunch of people who loves playing games from different reasons and do it because it's fun. And some games are so immersive that you might forget the day because you're just sucked in to the world that is so beautiful crafted that it's hard to get back into the real world because you are like, I wonder what happens next. Just like if you have a great movie or TV series where you follow episode by episode. And I believe we can do it because I have faith in us all that we can do it. And why I know it will work is every time I play a game online, I always act with good manners and good faith in all. And almost every game, I end up being surprised about how other people join me in being nice instead of being mean. And if people are mean, they actually join in and saying, calm down. It's just a game. We are here to have fun. We are here to have a good time instead of beginning to cursing at each other and taking the game down. And when people are nice to each other, it does something to the game. It improves it a lot, especially because you feel welcomed. You feel like you can do stuff here. And you can see when people playing online are being yelled at, cursed at, they don't really do anything better. They might be actually playing to the best of their abilities, and you yelling and cursing at them isn't helping them become better. The only way to make them better is to encourage them and talk to them, teach them, give them tips and ideas on how to do it, just like when you started playing and someone taught you how to play the game. So I hope we can begin to be better at winning and losing and still have good manners and remember that we ourselves are not perfect and end up making the game community all over better for old players and new players. I do hope you have enjoyed this episode. It's close to my heart, and you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, Spotify, YouTube, Patreon. And I do hope that you all have a very nice day.